Good evening, everyone. I'm a few minutes early. Baby, we got one for you this evening. We're talking Juneteenth and the aftermath of Juneteenth. I got one for you. We're setting up a few things because we have an amazing, amazing platform tonight. We're doing it live from both my page and from the page of the National Council of Black Studies. That's right. Yours truly is being featured on the National Council of Black Studies Facebook page tonight. So we're going to set that up a second. So stay right here with me and we'll get right on moving. We're going to get right on moving. Let's see here. Okay. Thank y'all coming in. We're just setting it up. Just stick with me for a minute. We're just setting it up. Baby, we got one for you this evening. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'm bringing in the host. I'm bringing in someone in just 1 minute. In just 1 minute. What's going on, Umi Mao? Love you. Christopher Smothers, what's going on, my great brother? How you doing, man? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, Marcus McDaniel? Octavia Beatty, what's happening? What's happening? How are you? How are you? Ray Matthews, what's going on? What's going on? Thank you all. We just setting it up. We setting it up. We setting it up. I'm waiting on someone who's going to host me and who's going to say a couple of words from the National Council of Black Studies. As soon as she gets in here, Yes, 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 yes. What's going on, Uizeye? Uizeye, great man, great man, great man. Yes. Y'all just hang with us. We just setting it up. We're just setting it up. Yes, Olamide, you know this garb. You got to know your garb. You got to know your garb. You got to know your garb. Yes. I'm trying to get somebody in here. What's going on, Abrahet? Love you, love you, love you, love you. Hey, Ire Ife. Thought I might not see you. What's going on, sis? How you doing? Baby, I got a lesson this evening. God gave me this thing, and people tell me they love my glasses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope it makes me look a little scholarly. Thank y'all so much. Thank you all so much. What's going on, Trenton Bailey? How you doing? Great scholar, great scholar, great scholar. Yes, we're filming live from the National Council of Black Studies Facebook page also this evening. I'm just trying to see if we can get the host in here. We're just trying to get the host in here. I'm hoping that the host is going to send me a message, send me a request to add them on screen. Host, that's what I need. Well, not host, I'm the host. Yes. I think it's down at the bottom of your page. Alicia is, no. Madam Gober, what I want you to do is put in a request, send me a request to add you right here. That's what I would like. Send me a request to add you in. This is the admin from the National Council of Black Studies page. Send me a request and I'll add you right here. And then you can connect it live to the National Council of Black Studies page. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Thank y'all for hanging with me. We're doing a great thing this evening. That is, we're trying to film from several different platforms. Angela Reed, how are you, my great sister? Yes. How are you? Good to see you. Appreciate you and all that you do to keep Black literature alive. So grateful for you. So grateful for you. Yes. All right, we're gonna get going here in a minute. I'm trying to see if I can get Dr. Alicia Fontenette in here. Let's see here. All right, Alicia, can we get you? All right, we're trying to see if we can get. Good evening, Mr. Hammond. How are you, great brother? Mr. Kenneth Hammond. That's my brother, y'all. That's my brother. That's my road dog. I appreciate that dude. Yes. What's going on? The great and the only Elder Nsombi Nzuri Watu. What's happening? And what's up, kiddos? Let me see. Can I click your name and add you? Let me see. Alicia, I think you have to send me a request. Benjamin Liddell Reynolds, baby, that's my dude right there. Yes. What's going on, Mr. Reynolds? Yes. Okay, here we go, Alicia. All right, here we go, y'all. Here we go. I think we're in business now. All right, Alicia should be adding you. You ought to be coming any second now. Yes.
Yes. And I was able to successfully share it on NCBS's page as
Fantastic.
So we are good to go. Thank you everyone for being patient. We were trying to get this technology going.
That's right.
And you all already know who this brother is. You all already know who Dr. Daniel Omatosho Black is. You know I love to say his full name. I love it. And it is so appropriate to me that you change this to a Sunday evening, because for me, I feel like I got my church this morning. Wow. But before I start this work week, I'm about to get refilled with some more words. So without further ado, so we can make sure this brother has all the time he needs, National Council for Black Studies, I give the floor to Dr. Daniel Black.
Wow. Thank you, my sister. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. No, I really appreciate you. I really do. And I thank you for having me, National Council of Black Studies. I really adore you. I respect you. I appreciate you for having me, and I appreciate you, National Council of Black Studies, for all the work you've done for so many years, to keep the faith and to help Black people stay centered and focused and create new theories and new ideologies about how we can live and thrive and survive in this place called America. So for all those members of the National Council of Black Studies, I bow before you and I thank you. Ashe. So Alicia, now we're gonna press on. We're here. Anela, what's happening, sister? How you doing, my great sister, my great elder, my great friend, my great sister? Belinda, what's going on? Hey, Sanam, what's happening? Obata, what's going on, dude? What's up, Alonzo? Hey. Yes, Aaron Kimball, what's going on? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for being here with me on this beautiful, amazing, priceless Sunday evening. Alonzo Jameson, what's going on, man? What's happening? Y'all, we are here to talk about Juneteenth. And when I tell you I got something for you, Now, Juneteenth is actually Saturday. This coming Saturday, June 19th is actually Juneteenth. I want to talk about it today because, of course, by next Sunday, Juneteenth will have passed. Also, on next Sunday, I want to talk about why you need a daddy. Next Sunday's Father's Day. Why do you need a daddy? But that's for next week. Today, Juneteenth, the power of Juneteenth, the power of celebration. And what I want to do today, y'all, I want to do something a little different than I have done in the past, right? I want to do something a little different than I've done in the past. What I want to do today is I want to do one proverb today. One proverb. Because this one proverb says so much. I'm going to try my best not to fall out as I'm walking you through this one proverb. But if you get it, it's really, really, truly, truly going to bless you. It's going to bless you. Everybody stay with me. Stay with me. Press share every single chance you get. And we're going to start with this one proverb because it's thick. It's thick. But it's saying far more than it sounds like it might be saying. Good evening, Cindy. What's going on? I'm still welcoming my people. What's going on, Cindy? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Love you. Ray Matthews, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Joe Stu, we call that man Baba Muganza. Listen, y'all. Baba Muganza, Joseph Stewart, is the #1 black purveyor of hip-hop history in this country. Did you hear what I said? The #1 purveyor of black hip-hop history is Joseph Stewart, Baba Muganza. Love that man. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Absolutely. And I'm shouting him out. I'm absolutely, positively shouting that man out. Also, what I want to do every week, every week we talk about a kid. And we mention a child who's marvelous and who's amazing and who's fantastic and who's wonderful. And there's a child who turned 12 years old. I just can't even believe the child is 12 years old. I mean, I just don't even believe. In my head, he's still 5, right? But he turned 12 years old, and his name is Jeffrey Anderson. Jeffrey Anderson, I hope you're listening to this. If you're not, you'll hear it. Jeffrey Anderson, I remember the day you were born. You were you were the most beautiful baby. And your eyes, you had these gigantic eyes. And I said, what is that child looking for? And you would just look around like that. And I was so amazed at the power of your eyes and the power of your sight. Jeffrey Anderson, you are awesome. You are exceptional. You are an incredible baseball player. You are a brilliant, 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 burgeoning young man. You are full of promise. You are full of hope. You are the magic beyond years. I don't care what positive or negative seems to have gone on in your life. Hey, brother, nothing can stop you. Use nothing as an excuse. Don't let anything stand in your way. All you got to do is come on, Jeffrey, and the universe will open the way for you because you are the one. Come on, somebody. You have to speak life into your own children. Hey, does somebody understand what I just said to you? You got to speak life into your own children. You have to speak life into your own children. You better do it. You better do it. Listen, speak life into your own. That Jeffrey Anderson is a bad dude. And we love you, brother Jeffrey Anderson. Listen, the proverb for today. Woo! Y'all got me wound up. We're talking about Juneteenth, and I'm going there with the proverb for today. On the day of harvest, Ire Ife. On the day of harvest, Anela Ekundayo. Do not forget to rejoice. It seems simple. It seems simple. On the day of harvest, do not forget to rejoice. But when this thing hit me earlier today, I was literally outside screaming and hollering. Let me walk you through it. Y'all stay with me. If that blesses somebody, just say that blesses me and share. And each level of this might bless you. On the day of harvest, get it first. Get it first. See, the first thing you got to get is a day of harvest is coming if you ever planted. If you ever believed, if you ever hoped, if you ever prayed, and you fought for it, the day of harvest is coming. But why does it say, don't forget to rejoice? Who could forget to rejoice? Who in the world could forget to rejoice on the day they get what they've been wanting? Everybody. Bless me, oh God, today. How? How can somebody forget to rejoice? Stay with me now. This is what's going to bless you. Y'all got to shout with me now. Because for some of us, the day took too long. Oh, God. Does somebody feel me? It took too long. And so on the day of harvest, instead of rejoicing, I'm mad. And I'm mad because I wanted it quicker. Somebody help me today. This thing wasn't supposed to take me, college wasn't supposed to take me no 9 years to finish college. In fact, I'm so ashamed and so embarrassed, I'm not even going to walk. Ow! I just said something. You missed it. You missed it. You missed it. If you spend 9 years to get a bachelor's degree and you don't walk, you done missed the whole harvest. Baby, I'm talking and I haven't even started talking. If you don't walk after 9 years of struggling, you missed it. Your ego cheated you out of your own harvest. Somebody says it wasn't supposed to take me 9 years. It was supposed to take you 9 years. Yeah, it was. That's why I did. Oh, God. You got to get your humility now. Get your humility together. Get your humility together. Get your humility together. Some folks say it just took too long. Other folks like, well, I can't rejoice in the day of harvest because this is not the harvest I imagined. Oh, help me, oh God. God blessed me with a house, but this is not the house I wanted. This is not my dream house. Will somebody shout with me? My God, today, this ain't the way I wanted it. Am I talking good, Benjamin? So no, I can't really rejoice. I can't really rejoice because this is not quite the dream house I had planned. Oh God, I can't rejoice about no car. This is a hoopty. Somebody's going to get this in just 1 minute. On the day of harvest, don't forget. Hey! And now I see why it says don't forget, because so many of us, if it doesn't come exactly the way I wanted it in exactly the amount of time I dreamed, and if it doesn't come the exact way I envisioned, I'm mad about it. I'm talking to somebody. I'm talking to somebody. Listen, if you got a hoopty where you don't have no house, you have no car note, and you're mad because it's not a BMW, but you have no car note, you've missed the harvest. You've missed the harvest. Oh, somebody accepted your play. Somebody accepted to put on your play, but they didn't accept it on Broadway. They accepted it in the community theater, and that wasn't big enough for your dream. Oh, God, you missed it. You missed it. Why? Because if you can't rejoice over a little, why would God give you great? Why would God give you something greater? I'm talking good to somebody. I'm talking good to somebody. Somebody sends you money. You're in college. Your grandmother sends you $100. You're like, $100? What can I do with $100? Shoot, one of my books costs $100. You done missed the whole beauty of the harvest. You done missed the whole beauty. On the day of harvest, don't forget. Don't forget to rejoice. You can be so mad at the way it comes. You can be so mad at the universe's notion of time and timing. Hear me now. And what I'm really trying to tell you, and I'm going to try my best to sit still in telling you this. This is what happened in Juneteenth. Because really, the folks in Galveston, Texas, most of you already know that story. They didn't hear about the freedom, their own freedom, right? They didn't hear about it till almost 2 years. 2 years. I didn't say 2 days. I didn't say 2 months. I said 2 years. They didn't hear about it for 2 years until 2 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. But stay with me now. I'm talking good. Stay with me now. But the day they heard, got to go. Y'all about to, but the day they heard, the second they heard, they went to shouting and rejoicing. Because the fact that they heard late, what difference does that make if freedom is your harvest? God be my strength, oh God. See, some folks would have said, oh, well, I'm mad that I wasn't free 30 days earlier. They wasn't free 400 years earlier. They had been praying for it, and they knew it would come. And it did. That's why they rejoiced. They didn't spend their time being mad that it came late. Oh, God, help me today, God. I'm trying to reconstruct our whole perception. I'm trying to reconstruct our notion of time, Black people. I'm trying to reconstruct how we understand God and how we understand harvest. The harvest the people prayed for, it came. And why did it come? Because Nat Turner came. And why did it come? Why did it come? Because Gabriel Prosser came. Because Sojourner Truth came. I can't hear nobody. Because Harriet Tubman came. And it came. And it was coming to every place where folks ever prayed. The fact that it didn't come at the same time was not even relevant. Listen. Listen. Oh, God. When a woman gets pregnant. Hey! When a woman gets pregnant, they give you what's called a due date. Somebody please come over here and get me. They give you what's called a due date. Now, here's what's, stay with me now. I'm talking good. I'm talking good. Melanie Robinson, I'm talking good. They give you a due date. The due date does not mean the baby's coming that day. I can't hear nobody today. It does not mean the baby's coming that day. It means the baby's coming around that time. Baby, I'm talking to somebody on today. Very few women give birth on the due date. See, the due date, come on somebody, is not the D-U-E date, it's the D-O date. It's the day for you to do. Hey, God. It means something will be done in that area. A due date is an around about time. It's a season. It's an era. It's not an exact hour. Sometimes the child will come 2 weeks before the due date. Sometimes the child will come 2 weeks after the due date. Hey, God, help me on today. The due date is just telling you when you ought to be ready. It's not telling you it's going to happen that time. It's just saying be ready. Just that's the time around which you ought to start getting happy. I can't hear nobody. I just can't hear nobody. I can't hear nobody. What Black people discovered is you don't wait for European time in order to shout. I'm going to have to run out of this room if somebody doesn't come get me. You don't wait for European time to start shouting. No, no, no. When Black people plant a seed, you already know a harvest is coming. It won't be an exact date. It'll be a season. Ooh, God Almighty. Listen here. On the night of December 31st, 1862, Black people gathered in churches, and Black people gathered in hush harbors, and Black people gathered in barns all across America to see if, in fact, Abraham Lincoln was going to sign the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. If he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, I'm going somewhere here now. If he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, then Black folks would officially be free. So Black folks gathered the night before, what we now call watch night, because we were watching to see if this white man was going to keep his word. I can't hear nobody. I can't hear nobody. We wasn't watching for God. Somebody's going to get this later. God had already promised it. We was trying to see, if Abraham Lincoln was going to bring in the harvest. We already knew a harvest was coming. We already knew a harvest was coming. How did we know? Because we had already planted the hope. We had already planted it. So a harvest was coming. If Abraham Lincoln had not signed the Emancipation Proclamation, Black people were still going to be free if we had to kill him and everybody else to do it. Oh, God. We had already planted it, so a harvest was coming. I'm talking good and I'm talking hard on this evening. But Black people gathered on the night of December 31st, 1862, to see if, in fact, Abraham Lincoln was going to be the vehicle, the avenue, the medium through which freedom was going to be made manifest. This is why we still do watch night right now. And of course, Lincoln did sign the Emancipation Proclamation, but it is not true. It is not true that all Black folks heard the good news that morning. It's not true. Now, of course, they didn't have technology. They didn't have TVs. They didn't have a whole lot of things that we have now. So a whole lot of Black people did not get the word until some weeks, some days. It's not true that everybody in the country heard on January 1st, 1863, and just those in Texas didn't hear. That's not true. It's not true. Most Black folks didn't hear. Now stay with me. Hey, because most white planters, now I'm going out to the deeper waters, most white planters did not tell it, and they didn't want to tell it. Somebody's going to get this. Why? Because they wanted to get in one more harvest. Somebody's going to get this. They want to get in one more harvest before they had to give up their chattel. So most white planters didn't tell it. They saw it in the newspapers and they intentionally concealed that information. Stay with me. So most of our ancestors worked through that winter and planted in the spring of 1863 another harvest. Somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to get this. But what white planters didn't know, and what America didn't know, is that Black people were planting the birthing of our own freedom. We had already paid for it. We had already paid for it. We had already paid for it. So it was coming. What white planters didn't know is that we were planting the last harvest that we would ever, 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 ever toil for them. And we were planting the birthing of our own freedom. Oh, come on, somebody. Most of y'all know the history. Most of y'all know the history of Juneteenth, so I don't need to tell that. You already got that. What I'm trying to show you is, if you plant, a harvest is on the way. Abraham Lincoln did not free black people. Abraham Lincoln did not free black people. If Abraham Lincoln could have saved the Union and kept slavery, you would have been in that field. Did you hear me, black people? Abraham Lincoln was not altruistic towards black people. He was not. No, ma'am, and no, sir. However, we had already planted the seeds, and so the harvest was on its way. Now, be very careful. If we're not careful, some folks will say, well, then when we get free, why wouldn't we just start killing up white folks? Why wouldn't we just, Because the first thing you have to do is rejoice. Why would you rejoice after 400 years of bondage? Huh? Who in the world would rejoice after 400 years of bondage? Africans. And why? Because what they knew is, if you'll take your moment to rejoice in your harvest, the difficulty of the labor disappears. Good night. Did somebody hear what I said? If you'll take the time to rejoice when the harvest comes, the difficulty of the labor will vanish. God will renew your strength. I'm talking good. Y'all share this, share this, share this, share this. God will renew your strength. God will take your strength, all your strength, and give it back to you. All the thing you hoped for, you'll see it over and over and over again. God will make your children prosper and your great-grandchildren prosper. For every day you worked in the field, you'll get years of prosperity. But you'll miss it if you forget to rejoice. Because what rejoicing means is stop. And why stop? Stop. Stop. Don't give not another piece of your energy to your struggle. I'm talking good to somebody. That's right, when we came. Don't wait till the battle is over. Shout now. Y'all remember that song by Walter Hawkins? Why? Because you already know that in the end, you're going to win. Listen to me. Listen to me. Don't you know a good student, when you start college, you already know the day you're graduating? Ah, God help me. Listen, when you start college, there's a due date. Y'all are going to take me out of here today. There's already a due date on your graduation on the day that you begin. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Once you start, if you're determined, listen, like I said, when a woman gets pregnant, the due date is inevitable, but it's not exact. You might have to go to an extra semester because you flunked a class or two. And so what? Don't you know when you apply for a job, nobody asks you exactly how long did it take you to graduate? What people want to say is, show me a degree. This thing is all over me tonight. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Y'all stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. On the day of harvest, don't forget to rejoice. And it says, don't just clap a little bit. Shout, scream, holler, huh? Run around the building. Listen, party all night long. Because the whole point of rejoice is put your struggle into context when laid alongside the beauty of your harvest. Listen, if you work in the fields all week long, if you work in the fields for months and months, toiling and watering a crop, on the day of harvest, you'll have 10 times more than you planted. Don't be mad that you had to water the crop when you got so much that literally your barn overflows. What? Take the time and look at it and rejoice good and rejoice long. Listen, Jesus believed in parties. Somebody's going to get this. Somebody's going to get this. Listen, how do you know? Because Jesus was at the party when they ran out of wine. Somebody help me. Jesus knew how to party. And somehow, every time there was a party, there was a celebration, Jesus showed up. I can't hear nobody. Because Jesus, why? Because Jesus knows how to work. If you know how to work, you ought to know how to party. I said something right there. If you know how to work, you ought to know how to party. Because the two balance each other out. You're supposed to be able to do both of those at the same time. Now, those folks in Texas, talking about Juneteenth, right? They didn't hear until June 19th. They say June 19th, 1865. Oh my God. Stay with me. Stay with me, black people. Stay with me. And the day they heard, they start rejoicing. But this gets complicated. I started saying, I said, there's something in this story I'm missing. I couldn't figure out what it was. So the last couple of days I've been reading about this. Stay with me. And if somebody shouts with me, you're going to get it. Yes, yes, yes. There was a general. Y'all know the whole story. There was a general who came to Galveston, Texas, June 19th, 1865. The history says with some 2,000 Union troops. Stay with me. Stay with me. You're going to get this. Came to Texas with some 2,000 Union troops, and they spread the news that slavery had ended. Here's the part you might not have known that I didn't know either. Most of those Union troops were black soldiers. Stay with me. And what I read in a book yesterday, I think it was yesterday, is that all along the way throughout the South, on their way to Texas, these black Union soldiers ran away from the regiment to tell plantations and to tell folks all along the way, hey, y'all, the freedom has come. Our freedom has come. Ah, God help me. Hey, y'all, our freedom has come. Stay with me. The black soldiers who volunteered in the Union regiment. Stay with me. Oh, God, somebody. Whoo! Listen, God Almighty, somebody better stay with me on today. This white Union soldier, stay with me now. This white Union soldier who was on his way to Texas, because he wanted Texas as a state to bow down to the sovereignty of the laws of the United States. Somebody stay with me. Somebody stay with me. That's what he wanted, and no problem. He was right, no problem. But those black Union soldiers along the way, their aim was to make sure every single damn piece of land in this country heard the echoes of freedom. Baby, that thing is hot to me. That thing is hot to me. They said at night when the soldiers bedded down, some of the black soldiers sneaked away and ran to nearby houses and ran to nearby plantations and told folks, freedom has come. Freedom has come. Yes, did you know freedom has come? Somebody is going to get this. Oh, God. The black Union soldiers, those who volunteered to fight on the side of the Union with the hopes of destroying that institution called slavery. But it was not a white general who brought and spread the word in Texas. No, it was black Union soldiers who volunteered to be under that white leader's leadership, and who privately along the way assured that every damn piece of land they covered heard the echoes of freedom. I'm talking good to somebody. In other words, black people freed black people. In other words, black people freed black people. I'm talking good to somebody. Somebody's going to get that in just 1 minute. Because white people had decided they weren't going to tell us. Will somebody please come get me? Did you hear what I said? White people had decided they were not going to tell us. Listen, this general who went to Texas, he was not going to Texas to free black people. No, he was going to Texas to make white people and to make the state of Texas surrender its power unto a federal authority. That was his aim. His aim was the unity of the Union. The Union soldiers who were following him, their aim was get every single one of my goddamn ancestors off this plantation and get these chains off. Take them off. Take them off. Take them off. Take them off. Yes, sir, General. Time to go to bed. Yes, sir, General. And they went in and lay down for 5 minutes and went up. And in the middle of the night, went and whispered, freedom has come. Freedom has come. Oh, my gosh. Freedom has come. Tell your neighbor now. Freedom has come. I'm talking good to somebody. I'm talking good to somebody. Now, listen, and they weren't mad. The folks who heard freedom has come, they didn't say, oh, damn, man. Didn't nobody tell me yesterday? Dang, I done worked extra 30 days. You know what they said? What? Hey, hallelujah, praise God. Our prayers have been answered. They didn't get mad that the prayer wasn't answered yesterday. Because listen, if you're going to do that, then you're going to stay mad a lifetime. They were mad at the timing. They were rejoicing that the harvest indeed did come. I'm talking good to somebody. Now, I made an analogy, and this thing is going to kill me. And if I get a chance to say this, I'm probably going to collapse, so y'all got to help me. White folks didn't tell us. But now stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. It's the same thing we're living in right now. Omatosha, what do you mean? There are realities that are for the exaltation of Black people that the media doesn't tell us. Ooh, God. There are children in public school. There are Black children in public school making straight A's every year, and you never hear their names. There are little Black boys who are in dilapidated houses, who are making great grades, and they live with their great grandmother and a drunk uncle. You don't never hear their names. They're not telling us those stories. I can't hear nobody. I can't hear nobody. I can't hear nobody. There are Black businesses that are thriving. Black people are standing in long lines trying to absolutely be intentional about supporting Black businesses. And when we do that, where is the media? Where is the media, huh? Freedom is right in front of us, and nobody's telling us. There's a harvest, and there is no announcement. Clark Atlanta University this year had not one, two graduations of 600 and 700 Black children each graduation. And we did both in one day, baby. Harvest, 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 harvest. And if we weren't there, they wouldn't have told us. Huh? LeBron James was the one who supported, who was the one who made this new, who financially supported this new examination of Black Wall Street. And many, many people didn't know that. Why? Because they did not tell us. What I'm trying to tell you is this history of your harvest coming and America making no announcement. I'm talking good to somebody, baby. I'm talking good to somebody. This tradition of harvest coming and America not telling you, it's a long history, and it is continuous. Listen, for every Black person that they shut down and they kill down, they shoot to kill, and we hear about it, there are 2 or 3 others whose names never get called. They don't tell it. They do not tell it. They do not tell it. There are Black men and women who are fighting to stay together in relationships. They get no honor. They told us nothing about that harvest. People have been together 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They get no announcement. I can't hear nobody. People say, dang, Black men and women, dang, they can't never stay together. It's plenty of Black men and women who've been together over hills and valleys and mountains and time. There's plenty of harvest, plenty of harvest. We say things like, well, I'm sorry, I don't get enough examples of Black men and women of happy marriages. That's because in America, America doesn't tell you your harvest. And if you're not careful, we'll miss it. And on the day we see it, if we're not careful, we'll be so mad at white supremacy that we'll miss the glory of Black excellence. Listen to me. We can be so mad at white supremacy that we miss the glory of Black excellence. So what am I saying? We have to find our own harvest. Not only is it there, how do you know it's there? Because we planted. Listen, baby, I'm about to fall out right here. Oh, God, listen to me. Most of us, we are the harvest that our grandparents planted. I can't hear nobody. I can't hear nobody. Many of us, on the day of our graduation, Ire Ife, the people who prayed for your graduation were not present. Many of us, oh, God. Many of us, we are alive, but the people who did dirt with us, we buried. I can't hear nobody. I can't hear nobody. Many of us, ends met because people gave us $20 here, $100 there. Somebody sacrificed for us. In other words, somebody planted a hope in us. Listen, you didn't graduate from school because you're so marvelous. Oh, God, somebody. You graduated from school because Harriet Tubman asked that you would. You graduated from school because Ida B. Wells said, let every child Let every child who loves knowledge get it. I can't hear nobody. You graduated from college because they killed Nat Turner. And before they killed him, he said, might 1,000 more come just like me. Am I talking good to somebody? Y'all press share, because I know I'm talking good to somebody. Press share and get this word out. Listen, you're where you are now because somebody planted you. And there's some folks who didn't believe in the harvest. But there's somebody who did listen to what I'm saying. And so some folks didn't make an announcement. And they didn't make an announcement because they didn't think it was significant. Quite frankly, I can't hear nobody. Somebody prayed that you would not smoke weed while all your friends were smoking weed. Somebody prayed that when the police pulled you over, you would be smart enough to put your hands up. Or they prayed that the police would be asleep while you sped right past them. You better hear what I'm saying to you. You better hear what I'm saying to you. And so you made it home alive. You thought you made it home alive because you were slick and because you were somehow irregular. You were not irregular. The prayer for you was irregular. Listen, don't forget to rejoice on the day of harvest. Because what I'm trying to tell you is the person who receives the harvest, the person who harvests the crop is very often not the ones who planted it. But if you'll take a moment and turn around and look at all those who planted you, Ire Ife, you'll start shouting. You'll start shouting. You'll get it. Ooh, just like those in Texas. On June 19th, 1865, they started screaming and hollering. Why? Because freedom had come. And freedom can't be late. I'm gone. Listen, freedom can't be late. Freedom is always on time. Folks say, well, it came late. No. Freedom can't be late. The second it shows up, it's due. Baby, I said that. The second freedom shows up, freedom is due. Am I talking good to somebody? So when they heard in Texas, they went to screaming and hollering and shouting and rejoicing. And that's why we now have a thing called Juneteenth, because all we're doing is shouting the way they shouted. Some of us are mad that it came 2 years later. Listen to me. When you've been in bondage for 400 years, freedom is always on time. Some of us, I went to college and went 4 years, marvelous. Some of us, I went to college and went 5 years, marvelous. Some of us, I went to college and quit and returned 10 years later and finished my degree. That's why it's called a degree. Oh, because what degree of time will you negotiate with? What degree of time will it take you to accomplish this task? It's called a degree because you've got to negotiate your excellence and your maturity with time in order for you all to agree upon when you're going to be finished with this process. Every process is a degree. Hey, God. If you're going to walk with God, you're going to walk with God in degrees. You can't take all of God at once. Hey, Shadaba, you can't take all of God at once. I can't hear nobody. If you're going to stay married, you got to stay married in degrees. You better take that thing one day at a time because it'll overwhelm you at any second. If you're going to drive from here to California, you don't try to sprint from here to California. In fact, you plan when to stop. I'm talking to somebody. You plan when to stop. And you'll get to California because the race is not given to the swift. Lord have mercy, oh God. Hey, it's not given to the swift. What does that mean? The race is not given to the swift. Barbara, what does that mean? The race is not given to the one who's trying to outrun everybody else. The race is given to the one who finds your own pace, who finds, come on somebody, who finds your own rhythm and dances until the song is over. Why? Because if you're not careful, you'll make the race about beating somebody else instead of it being about completing your process. Good night. Does somebody hear what I'm saying to you? If you're not careful, you'll turn the race into the notion of beating somebody else. The point of the race is not to beat somebody else. The point of the race is for you to complete what you started in the amount of time allotted to your maturity. Omatosho Jojo Mani. Omatosho Jojo Mani. Oh, somebody stay in here with me. So when they got to Galveston, Texas, in June of 1865, the black folks said, God is a good God. All praise be unto a God who brought the harvest. Now, oh my God, again, folks say, it was late. Listen to me, listen to me. All blooming doesn't happen at the same time. I don't care if you plant the seeds on the same day. Some seeds take longer to germinate than other seeds. But some fruit is sweeter than other fruit also. So listen, now be very careful, because sometimes time makes you wait, because time is trying to give you the taste of something that's greater than anything you've ever tasted before. But if it's in fact going to be greater, it's got to germinate just a little bit longer. I can't hear nobody on here tonight. I can't hear nobody on this platform up in here tonight. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. So don't be mad if it seems like your harvest comes late. It cannot come late. A seed cannot be late. It cannot bloom late. It can bloom later than you like. It can bloom later than the other seeds, but it cannot be late. Listen, that's why everybody has what's called a birthday, and nobody's birthday is late. Everybody's birthday is on the date they were born. Your birthday can be in January. Your birthday can be in June. Your birthday can be in November. It's not late. That's the day you came. Come on, somebody. And that's the day you were supposed to arrive. I can't hear nobody on this platform in here tonight. So freedom came. Freedom came in Texas when freedom was supposed to come in Texas. And that's what black people understood. And I'm going to say this last thing to you, and I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to get through this. What black people have discovered, now I'm way out in the water, Obata. What black people have discovered, and this is what our ancestors discovered. And if we can know this, we would absolutely be 20 times better off. Stop measuring what you want by the extent to which white supremacy agrees. See, when we say it came late to Texas, we're only saying late because folks over in Georgia already knew. I can't hear nobody. Listen to me. But what damn difference did that make? Because folks were free in Georgia, but they were lynching you all the same. I can't hear nobody. What good was it to be free over here and would nobody hire you? So how in the world is freedom late in Texas if your freedom doesn't even free you? What? What? In other words, what black folks have come to realize is you don't walk with God in one man's time. You walk with God in God's own timing. You deal with God in, see, this is why freedom had to come. Hey, freedom had to come because black people had already prayed, because black people fought hard. We weren't perfect, but black people fought hard to walk in character as slaves. How do you know that? Because all those white children black people raised, all those white children black women wet nursed, all those white children black people groomed up, we didn't kill them. That's your sign that we believed in character. Because literally, we loved and nurtured the children of the enemy. Because we thought loving a child was right to do. I don't care whose child it was. That's called character. In other words, black people planted character. And in black people planting character, we were going to harvest virtue. Daniel Black. Black people planted character. So we had no choice but to harvest virtue. And what black people knew is it was coming. I don't give a damn what white folks said. I don't care what they did, because I don't care. White supremacy is all kind of powerful, but white supremacy is no match to the universe. It's no match to the law of life force. I can't hear nobody. And what we knew is if you plant excellence, you shall reap a harvest of the magical, of the fantastic. I don't care what other folks are doing. And that's what happened. on June 19th, 1865. And we give God thanks that it came. And no, it didn't come late. Freedom ain't never late. Freedom is always on time. Don't y'all forget that. And in your own lives, make sure you rejoice on the day of your harvest. Y'all fresh air. Love y'all. Good night.